especially when you're playing a melody on a bass. You might want to have a little bit of vibrato on it. Like that. So now we're going to run the drum machine again, about 16 bars of some kind of drum beat they'll come up with for me, and what I'll do is I'll play along and I'll do like more vibrato-y and kind of bendy things that I don't know if I would normally do this or not, but just to give you an example of how they work in context with the drummer and see how they fit together. So let's see how that works. All right, a lot of players ask me about harmonics. You can be any kind of a player and have a very solid foundation as a player, but it's nice to always have a little something to throw in or to add a little more character or color to a song or to your playing or a solo if you'd like. So one of the things I do a lot, and I learned years ago in 1974, I saw Billy Gibbons play, and he plays with a coin, and he used to play slide the coin off and make these harmonic sounds, and I was very intrigued by it, and I was able to mimic what he did with just my fingers without having to use what he did. A lot of guitar players use a pick and do them now. But I'll show you how that works. Basically, for a harmonic with what we call a pinch harmonic, because you're pinching the string, it's a little bit difficult to get, so watch closely. Basically, what happens is my thumb, the soft part of my thumb, is the thing that makes the harmonic. Now, first of all, I'm sorry, I've gotten ahead of myself a little bit here. Explain what a harmonic is. As you play a note of a string, there are, at the 12th fret, right in the exact center of the string between the bridge and the nut, is a harmonic. In between those two, there are many others as well. So as you just touch the string lightly and pluck it, get this little high harmonic like that. And they're basically all over the place. They're all over the neck. You just got to kind of find them here. So the idea is a pinch harmonic. Just as I pluck a string and hold a spot to get a harmonic, like that, pinch harmonic does both actions with one hand. So basically it's doing what's happening there is my fingernail is acting as the pick, plucking, and my thumb, the soft part of my thumb, acts as the thing that gets the harmonic. So what happens is, it might be difficult to see, so I'm going to pull my bass up here a little bit so you can get an idea from underneath what's going on there. Let's see, this angle here might work. My fingernail is plucking the string, and my thumb is touching it. So they pinch together. As one plucks, the thumb pulls off almost at the same time, but it's a little late, so that's where you get the harmonic from. And as you move it around, that's how you get the different notes. Now, it may seem difficult to get at first, but give it a try because there's a whole different way of playing. You can get them on any string, and any spot on any string. So as I'm playing along, sometimes I'll just hit a pinch harmonic, like if I'm just playing along. And I'm bending it, you see, too, so you get. It adds a whole other color and dimension to your playing, and you can do it also on any string. I used to bend this D note up to the E, and mimic what happens when a guitar player hits an E note and drops it down with this vibrato. So you can start with it bent all the way up onto the E note, and then hit the harmonic and drop into it. So there's lots of ways you can use it. Use your own creativity. But basically the pinch harmonic, once you get it down, you're able to pinch the string at any place and get a harmonic. There's a lot of extra color and a lot of extra musical things you can do with the instrument to get some more notes and some more things in there to make it a little more interesting for you. A lot of players use a lot of tapping techniques these days, which is very good. It's a lot of fun to play. A lot of things you can do with it. Sometimes some people overuse it a little bit, so shouldn't do that, but it's always a good thing to add to your playing. Back in 1974, again, I saw Billy Gibbons play, the same concert that I stole the pinch harmonics from. I saw him do kind of a typical Billy Gibbons lick, where he would bend a note like this, and in order to hit this note A, he would bend it. When I saw him hit the note there, I thought, oh my God, what a brilliant idea. Back in 1974, before it became popular, I thought to myself, you know, this might work. I might actually be able to touch the string onto the fretboard, and it might work as a way to play the note. Who knows? I saw Billy Gibbons do it, so I got home and I went, and sure enough, it worked. So that's where I got it from. And then I learned that not only could you play the note, hit it down, but also when you pulled your finger off, you got two notes. So therefore we have the two things. It's called a hammer-on, where it kind of like a little hammer hits down and pull off. When you take it off the string, so you'll do it just by holding it on the string there, and as I take it off, you hear the note. It's actually plucked like that, so it's a pull off. You're pulling it off, hammering it on, pulling it off, and pulling it off, like that. So that's a hammer on and a pull off. And there's all kinds of ways you can do it. Guitarists, generally, because they have lighter strings, can do it with almost any finger and their thumbs, and it's very easy for them to do it, comparatively to a bass, which is much heavier strings. So some of the things that you might want to try starting out with, if you're going to try hammer-ons, if you want to try them, one thing that I do is I always put one finger on top of the other one. Because you remember before we were talking about bending, and how important it is to have some other fingers to help along with the strength. Well, the same thing is true with hammer-ons. If you have your other finger on top there, what I'm actually doing is using two fingers, one on top of the other, so when I press down on that note and I hit it, it's hit with a lot of force. So it's hit so you can hit with a lot of strength. So you can. And without that, it's much weaker. To do it that way, it's much weaker. Also, another very important thing. Remember, before we talked about the thumb being in position as you pluck. It's also important when you're doing a hammer-on. If you were to play, you'll notice a lot of times when I'm doing hammer-ons, as we begin to play here, my thumb is always anchored on the top edge of the neck, so that at any given time I know that that's the G string, that's the D, that's the A, and that's the E, without even looking, because I've memorized and I'm used to it. I know as soon as my thumb is there, I know where the strings are, just by feel. I don't even have to look, because know that the thumb is always on the edge there. So as an example of how it moves around, I'm playing no note down here. It's just muted, so you can see as it moves around. But you see my thumb slide along that little track right there? It keeps you right in the spot. So to play it. keeps it right in line there. It makes it real easy to move up and down the neck. You don't have to think a lot about where your hand is. You can concentrate more on your music and your playing. So that's the basics of the mechanics of how to play the hammer-on. There's a couple of other things that you should know. Sometimes you can, now so far I've only been doing them on one string. You can do them across many strings. In a piece, a bass solo that I did on an old Tallis record, I played a D major chord, and on the top of it, I hammered across all these notes. So it goes. Let's see, I have the two fingers together, and I have my thumb locked on there. It makes it a lot easier to play. It creates the chord. It also creates that chord on top of it, and the melody of all the things in between. So with very little movement and very little work, you can get quite a piece of music with a lot of notes going on there just by and moving it around more. So that's kind of some of the things that I did in the early days when I began doing hammer-ons. But always remember that that finger on top of that will help a lot, especially if you're having trouble with any strength, and always have the thumb locked down too. Very, very important. Now, there are many other things that we'll do with hammer-ons too, but it's good to know the basics of how it begins and how it works, because from there you can use your own creativity and your own ideas to maybe take it in your own direction and try something new that no one else has thought of yet. So I'll give you that as a foundation. Take it from there, and we'll go on to some more examples. Okay, I'm going to try some hammer-on stuff, some tapping, along with some music, some drum machine music anyway, some time. And the purpose of that is, what I'll do is I'll play along a little bit, and I'll throw some tapping in, rather than do the whole thing as just tapping, so you can see how you can go from regular playing into a couple little tap things. Simple. I'll do a couple simple, easy ones that illustrate to you to make it easy for you to just pick up the idea, and then again you can expand it on your own as you get better at it. But I'll just play a little bit along with the track, with the drums, throw a few hammer-ons in so you can see how we go from very important thing that people leave out a lot, I think, is the transition between regular playing and hammering on or tapping, because you got to move your hands around a bit. So you'll see, I'll do that. I'll do the two things so you can see how they work together. Okay, here we go. There's another kind of tapping that I do, a different type, which I forgot actually how I came up with it, but what it involves is actually tapping two notes at the same time. I notice if I'm playing like a song and it's in the key of C, it gets kind of boring after a while. I got to stay on the C note. Well, there's a couple of C notes on the bass. There's this one, this one, this one, and this one. So why not use this little thing here? Add a little rhythmic thing to play a C note, two C notes, two octaves together along with that. So I'd be playing something like